Welcome to Amiga on the Lake, and this is our continuing series. This is AmigaOne Tips and Tricks number 2. TuneNet won't play MP3s. Okay, well, this is a problem that well, we get a lot of emails and phone calls about this. So let's first talk about what the issue is. So I'm going to open up TuneNet and let's go to Internet Radio, and let's say you just installed the Enhancer software pack. You want to try out TuneNet, so you go to Internet Radio, and let's try Dance Wave Patrol, and let's see what happens. Okay, and then you're presented with this. Please note, a compatible MP3 library, mpega.library, is required for MP3 playback. You will not be able to play MP3 files or MP3 internet streams until you install this. The most common MP3 library can be downloaded from TuneNet's website here. Once installed, please restart TuneNet. If you don't want to play MP3s, then remove the MP3 cast plugin from the plugins directory. Well, this address that they're providing here goes to an address for AEN. And go to the plugin download page. Okay, and I haven't set the URL in the preferences yet, but I do have OWB, so I'll click OWB, and this is what the site comes to. And this has been doing this for at least a year. Welcome to the TuneNet website. New pages arriving shortly. Please check back. Okay, there's no mpega.3 library. What do we do? What do we do? Okay. Well, I'm going to close the Origin web browser, and I'm going to close TuneNet, and let's open up Odyssey. Okay, now you can type in mpega.library here, which I've done, and there's nothing comes up. And so this is just a quick video. I'm going to show you how to solve this problem. So you're going to type in mpega, M-P-E-G-A. And there should be 4 things that come up here. Okay, search. Okay, there's 4 listings that come up with just MPEGA. The size, they're all pretty small except for this bottom one. Play MPEGA audio files, I've checked that out, that's not it. MPEGA demo, that's not it. MPEGA includes, that's not it. MPEGA libmad. Libmad based MPEGA library. .library for OS4, 68K, MorphOS, and one other. So this is what you want to do. You want to go to, just type in MPEGA in the search directory, and you're going to come up with these 4 listings, and MPEGA libmad is what you want to check. And if you go ahead and pull this page open for the README, he says some nice things about what this is and what this does. And this is an MPEGA.library clone. Now, down at the bottom here, he says mpega.library is no longer updated, and I haven't been able to get in touch with, and I'm not going to try to pronounce this guy's name because I'm probably going to butcher it, and I want to do that, for 2 years and counting. Well, this was posted on June 2004, so it doesn't sound like he's gotten a hold of this guy for probably since 2002. That was a long time ago. This is the most newest and the most current mpega.library that I can find. So, okay, I guess we're going to give this a shot. So I'm going to download the MPEGA libmad into the RAM disk. Click OK, and this is a pretty, already done. This is a pretty small download. I'm going to close Odyssey down, open up the RAM disk. I'm going to double click this to unarchive it, and instead of going to clicking this and going to volumes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this in the RAM disk. So I'm just going to grab the RAM disk, drag it over here into the bar. That makes it quick and easy. Start. Okay, and here it is. Now I've gone through here and I've read this, and I recommend, I'm not going to spend all the time and energy to do that. It's probably unnecessary, but I do encourage you to read, figure out what's going on, and completely understand it. Now, here is the libraries: mpega.library.os4, .040 for the 68K, mpega.library PUP, and mpega.library ELF. Well, I know which system we're targeting here, which is, of course, the Amiga OS4. And I know how to handle this because I've read it, and you can just follow what I'm doing. But I do encourage you to read it just to make sure you got your head around everything. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to rename the mpega.library.os4. And you're going to rename it to just mpega.library. So we're just going to hit the backspace key and take out the dot and the OS4. And you're good to go. Click rename, and moves it in a different spot here, but now it's just called MPEGA Library. Now, you need to put this in your library folder called the libs folder. So you're going to double click on your workbench drive. You can pull workbench open here, and you're going to right click and inside the window here, and you're going to go to show all files, because the library libs folder and some of the other folders don't show up by default, which is kind of handy. Makes it a little less congested, but when you need to get to it, you can get to it. There's the C folder, classes, kickstart, libs. This is the folder that we want to put that in. So double click libs, and you can tell right away that everything in here dot library at the end of it. So this is the right folder. It's in the libs folder. Again, libs. And just to do a little carousing around in here, right click anywhere in the white space in the window here, and let's clean up by name. Drag this down so we can see a little better. And if you go down to the M's, looks like the M is starting right about here, and we're not seeing anything called mpega.library, which makes sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that mpega.library out of the RAM disk, and we're going to drop it in here. So I'm going to use the tips and tricks, AmigaOne Tips and Tricks #1. I'm going to right click in the depth gadget here, and I opened it up in the MPEGA libmad folder, which is in RAM disks, and there we are. So I'm going to just drag this in here and drop it. And of course it's still here because this is on a different drive. I'm going to close that out, close the RAM disk out, and close the workbench disk, and I'm just going to just clean this up by name again and go down to the M's, and sure enough, there we go, mpega.library. Okay, now I close TuneNet, so I should be good to go here. Click TuneNet. We're going to go to Internet Radio. Now I do have a playlist here, but that's not what you're normally going to see the first time that you do this. And by the way, we actually install the mpega.library in the systems that we produce for probably, I'd say, the last 2 or 3 months. And if you want to read about the stuff that we include, you can double click on your drive icon, and let's go ahead and change this back to icons only. And if you go into the documentation drawer, you see this right here, AOTL editions. That's the Amiga on the Lake edition. So any additions and things that we add, we fully document and cross all the T's and dot all the I's. So if you want to read about the additions that we've included, they're in that folder there. Now, if you reinstall your system, all of a sudden, wow, TuneNet's not playing. What's wrong? Well, you just saw what we did. We installed the library. We restarted this. So let's click on Dance Wave. Double click on that. I don't know if that's blasting or really really loud, but it works. And the playlist that I have here works. Fantastic. So MP3's are now playing. Now, as to why the AEN page hasn't been updated and they're not including libmad, quite frankly, I don't know. But I'm sure as a lot of you kind of went, well, this isn't working, and some of you hunted around and found it. Some of you took more time and hunted around and finally found it. But because this is a frequently asked question, I wanted to show you this video. So again, go to OS4 Depot, type in MPEGA, and it's the last one. It's mpega.libmad, and certainly read the documentation, and I just showed you how to do it. Just go ahead and read through there, and that will solve the MP3 non-playing problem, and you're good to go from there on. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for watching.